अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ क्लास 11th। आज हम यूनिट जिसका नाम है टुवर्ड्स मॉडर्नाइजेशन या इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन, इसमें से जो हम टॉपिक हम आज डिस्कस करेंगे दैट्स अबाउट वुमेन ड्यूरिंग द इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन। और साथ में हम बात करेंगे व्हाट वर द कंडीशंस ऑफ द चिल्ड्रन, क्योंकि वुमेन जो थी दे फेस डिफरेंट डिमांड्स ड्यूरिंग द इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन। इवन सम ऑफ देम दे फेस टुडे। इन वुमन में से सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम जो हुई दैट वाज टू द वर्किंग क्लास, as they have usually to go out for work, and they worked often in mills and mines. Sometimes they might have worked in industries like cotton, or we can say textiles, or sometimes they have worked at the homes of these rich people as maids or something else. ये जो वुमेन हुआ करती थी, they were accompanied by their children, even sometimes men, and had to work together with the men for long hours, as the working conditions in the initial phase of this industrial revolution were very long. Sometimes we may say they were 10 to 14 hours, and sometimes they may go for 18 hours. So, working conditions, they were very harsh, they were very hard. अगर हम देखेंगे इस पिक्चर को देखेंगे तो वी कैन फाउंड द वर्किंग कंडीशन ऑफ ए वुमन, हाउ ए वुमन is pulling a trolley filled with coal from coal mines to the nearby waterways, where from it was taken away to its destination. But all women doesn't have the same problem or the same issue, or they don't work in the same places. Some worked who are very fortunate and may worked as maids for these wealthier families, rich families. कुछ गवर्न करते थे रिच चिल्ड्रन को, लुक आफ्टर करते थे रिच चिल्ड्रन को। ये वी कैन से दे वर द फॉर्चुनेट। तो लेस फॉर्चुनेट हुआ करती थी, what they have to do, they had to go for work in mines in harsh conditions, and then after returning home, they have to conduct the household domestic works or domestic needs like washing, cooking, looking after their children. और इनके जो घर हुआ करते थे, most of the people were having very quite poor. They were very quite poor. Their houses were not better than Salmos. They were worst ever. Their working condition, whether they stayed at home or in the industries where they worked. In most of the cases, they were had to stay in the Salmos. Their houses were similar to the facilities provided in Salmos. But someone, like a picture is shown here, a working woman who was working in a gilt button factory in Birmingham. In this factory, we have 2/3 of the workforce or the manforce who are working, while mostly women or children. The reason behind why the children were allowed to work in these workshops, it's because children and women are the less paid workers. Second reason behind this is the industrialists say that it's a training period for these children, as they are the future workers. They have to work in the industries in the near future. After their parents leave these industries, they have to take the place of their parents. So this period, this phase is a training period for them. Women were having additional burden of societies, that's demand for children. They have to reproduce. They have to reproduce for these factories. They have to produce army men. They had to produce soldiers. They had to produce barricades, and at the same time, they had to produce the workers. We can say a woman had to produce. When with the rapid growth of this industrial revolution, another increase was the rapid population growth. इसका जो impact था, it was directly upon this woman, upon the physical strength of the mother. वैसे अनकॉमन ये भी नहीं था कि मोस्ट ऑफ द वुमेन हैविंग मोर देन 10 चिल्ड्रन, और जब भी वुमेन काम के लिए जाती थी फॉर द डे, क्योंकि फाइनेंशियल कंडीशंस उतनी अच्छी नहीं थी, उस वजह से दे हैड टू वर्क, और वहाँ पे इसका सारा असर किस पे पड़ता था, इन चिल्ड्रंस पे और मदर्स पे। कभी कभी अगर किसी के घर में कोई ओल्डर पेरेंट हुआ करता था तो वो उस बच्चे को उसी के पास छोड़ देते थे, अगर ना हो तब साथ लेते थे, और वहाँ पे जो पोल्यूशन वगैरह उसका इफेक्ट इन बच्चों पे पड़ता था। और व्हाट वी फाउंड कि मोस्ट ऑफ द जो चिल्ड्रन हुआ करते थे दे डाइड ड्यूरिंग दिस इन्फेंसी, during the phase of infancy. That's why mothers keep more than 10, 12 children, as they know while they will be on work, most of them may not live long, as due to the pollution or due to the very least food facilities, they can't even afford to give them food. इसी वजह से फिर वो बच्चे उनमें से बहुत सारों की डेथ होती थी और बहुत कम जो रहते थे अलाइव। अगर हम इसकी फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस लेनी है आज के दौर में कि हाउ द चिल्ड्रन एंड वुमेन वर्क, वी शुड विजिट द बडगाम डिस्ट्रिक्ट ऑफ J&K, वेयर वी कैन सी इन ब्रिक किल्नर्स। वहाँ पे ये छोटे बच्चे, औरतें, मेल सारे लोग काम करते हैं और ऑन ए मेरी लेस वेज, मीगर वेज। अगर बच्चों की बात करेंगे, एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन there was little legislation. There, even we can say no legislation about the working conditions in mills. फैक्ट्रीज जो इंडस्ट्रीज हुआ करती थी, जिनकी वो हुआ करती थी, इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट जो होते थे, उनको अपनी मर्जी थी कितना टाइम, कितनी वेजेस दे देंगे इन वर्कर्स को, क्योंकि वहाँ पे कोई लेजिस्लेशन नहीं हुआ। जो ही फैक्ट्रीज की तादाद बढ़ गई, ओनर्स ऑफ द मिल्स, माइनस जो थी, उनको ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा तादाद ज़रूरत थी वर्कर्स की, and they don't want to pay them high wages. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, they kept children as employees as they were very cheap. Even they were not enough big, or we can say enough educated, who can argue, who can complain, and were very small enough to fit between tight fitting machineries. Children क्या करते थे, they soon ended up working in all types of industry. You may wonder why children were not in the schools. ये भी एक परेशानी की बात है कि बच्चे स्कूल क्यों नहीं जाते थे। इसका एक रीज़न है, एजुकेशन वाज नॉट ट्रीटेड कंपल्सरी ड्यूरिंग 19th सेंचुरी। और जो स्कूल्स हुआ करती थी, दे वर वेरी एक्सपेंसिव एंड पीपल एंड फैमिलीज हैविंग पुअर बैकग्राउंड डजंट अफोर्ड टू पे द स्कूल फी और अदर चार्जेस so that the children could get education. So working class families could not afford to send their children there. और पेरेंट्स क्या करते थे, they were quite willing to let children work in the mills and factories so that they could generate, they can enhance their income. So having higher income means better conditions, better working, better conditions, or better food and meals. So that's why parents were reluctant to send their children to the schools. इसका एक रीज़न ये भी था कि फैमिली जो होती थी, चूँकि इनकम बच्चे क्यों ज़्यादा रखते थे, ताकि वो कल उनके लिए काम करेंगे, तब जाके उनकी इनकम इंक्रीज हो जाएंगी। नॉलेज आजकल क्या होता था कि lots of children have Saturday jobs or part-time work after school. These jobs are carefully controlled and legislated by the government. And government had now made laws so that children under the age of 14 or can't work. We can say that child labor, it's banned. Now child labor is not allowed. Now we have protected the rights of the child. So we can say by these legislations we have regulated the types of jobs. We have regulated the minimum age for working. इन एविडेंस से हमें पता चलता है कि मार्केट वर्किंग कंडीशन जो थी, अर्लियर वर्किंग कंडीशन थी, बेहतर है। इवन देयर वाज नो रिस्ट्रिक्शन ऑन द एज ऑफ वर्कर्स नॉर द नंबर ऑफ आवर्स दैट दे कुड वर्क। इससे क्या होता है, इससे बच्चों की कंडीशन हमने देखी कि खराब हो गई। बच्चों की जब वो थोड़े यंग हो जाते थे तो मुख्तलिफ़ किस्म की डिजीज़ में इन्वॉल्व होते थे, उससे भी एट द एंड पॉपुलेशन जो थी उससे भी डिक्रीज हो जाती थी या पॉपुलेशन से उस पर असर होता था। थैंक यू वेरी मच माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स क्लास।